Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE Monday Night Raw episode 1374, SmackDown Live episode 1049, and 205 Live episode 148, broadcast on 9/23 and 9/24/2019. So this first episode of Raw, this is the season finale. As we're they don't mention that this week is the season finale. They only just keep saying that next week is the season premiere of both Raw and SmackDown on Fox. So that makes this week's episodes the finale, right? But they don't mention that. It's weird, but it is. So I did really enjoy both of these episodes. I didn't watch most of Raw live because I was driving back from San Antonio. Overall, I was driving back from San Antonio, but on Monday, I had stayed in Denton and was driving back from there while Raw was broadcast. Real quick, I was in San Antonio for Big Texas Comic-Con. I did talk to a few people around me that were really nice, and I got a lot of good feedback and ideas for stuff, and that was really great about the convention. But my sales were not good, and it was on that front, it was kind of a bust. But I did sign up again for next year's show, which is the third weekend in September. Again, which I think is the 18th through 20th next year. So I will be back at that show next year. But I signed up because there were Artist Alley booths, and that was a big factor in making the weekend more of a success. It's just the cost of having a booth. So getting that would be great. And having a more focus of, because I was trying a lot of different things this weekend, and that I think that some of those things may have hurt the possibility of sales and that kind of stuff. So anyway, go to demonjackal.com. Stay tuned for more stuff. I'm coming to some more conventions soon. I'll be at the Great American Comic Convention. Yeah, Great American Comic Convention, I think is the name of it, in Las Vegas in the week before Survivor Series, and then Black Friday and the day after on Saturday, I will be at ForeverCon at Mile High Comics in Denver. And then the next show after that is way off in January at the Albuquerque Comic Con. So yeah, I'll talk about those more and more and more and more, especially in the comic book episodes, but that's where I was this past weekend. And I was going through, I was driving back, and I'm really glad that I went, it added like another 100 miles to my drive or whatever, but it broke up my drive so that I only had 725 to drive on Monday instead of a full 900 straight from San Antonio. But I was glad that I went there because I had lunch with Tyra, who been trying to get the schedules to work out, like all these different trips to Texas. So finally we got to have lunch together, and I was also able to get her my old iPad Pro so that she can start drawing with that instead of a vastly inferior Wacom tablet. iPad Pros are awesome for drawing, just so everybody knows. If you didn't know already, they're with the Apple Pencil, they're amazing. Like if there's something better, I haven't tried it yet, and hopefully if I do find something better, then I'll want to get it, which might be a bad thing because it's probably a lot more expensive than the iPad Pro. But anyway, that was really awesome to see her and catch up and all of that. And then the drive back was long, but and then when I watched like the first 45 minutes as it aired while I was driving, but then the apps was having trouble connecting and stuff because I was kind of going through a rough patch as far as cellular service goes. So I ended up watching the rest on Tuesday morning instead. So that being said, the opening with the messed up graphics at the top of the show, that was really cool. We opened with Seth and Braun talking about stuff, and Seth ends up challenging Braun because Braun is being obnoxious. Then we have the Viking Raiders versus the OC. Viking Raiders win. And then we also had Rusev versus EC3, which Rusev defeated him in that match. I went back and wrote this down after I had actually watched it, so there's more stuff that happened, but that was the main idea of all that. Then we had Nikki Cross versus Sasha Banks in an excellent match. Sasha won via the Banks statement, and then she also attacked Bliss after that. And next week we're gonna get Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss, so that'll be pretty cool. Let's see. Miz comes out as his daughter is born, Madison J. Mizanin. That's really awesome. He announces that Miz TV next week on the season premiere of Raw. I'm pretty sure it's the season premiere of Raw. They didn't mention it quite enough, but I think it's the season premiere of Raw next week. He's going to have Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair on Miz TV next week, so that'll be pretty cool. Lacey Evans defeats Ember Moon via sharpshooter, sending a message to Natalia in the back. We have Firefly Funhouse, where Buzzard and... No, it's not. The Buzzard is involved in this. Huskus, the pig boy, and Rambling Rabbit, Randy the Rambling Rabbit. No, what is its name? Those two, they're fighting over a Seth Rollins action figure, and Bray says, "Oh, you can share it. Sharing is caring," and rips them in half, and gives one of them the legs and one of them the upper body. R-Truth and Carmela are being chased out into the 24/7 into the ring, and Carmela tells everybody to stop. Please stop chasing us. I'm sick of it. And R-Truth feels really bad. He gives her a hug, and she rolls him up and pins him to win the championship. Carmela is the 24/7 champion finally, but Truth isn't even mad about it. He is really excited for her, and at first he tries to hop onto her back for them to run away from all the women who come to chase after Carmela, and so that was really funny. But he ends up carrying her out to escape, and the saga continues. I love it. How is this going to work with the split now? Are they still going to appear across the two shows? I hope so. Even though, well, it'll be at least until, because we don't have the full brand split until we have the draft, and that'll be the week after Hell in a Cell. And so it's like 2 weeks after the Hell in a Cell when we'll have the full brand split again. King Corbin with new graphics, a brand new cloak and crown and scepter, comes out to fight Chad Gable in a rematch. An excellent match. Corbin looks so badass, and there's new music. It has the same theme, but it's added with it has like little interludes of the royal stuff. I really like it. I think it's awesome. But King Corbin, he's about to be defeated by Chad Gable with that ankle lock, but he makes his way over the corner, grab his scepter, and attacks Gable with it, getting disqualified. So the saga there continues. AOP, they address the audience saying, "Oh, you want to know what we're about? We'll show you." And then they go out into the hall and just murder a couple of people, and then go back to set to film a little bit more. I really like that. I really like that. And I assume, okay, last week their segment was shown on both shows. This week it was only shown on Raw. So I think that we might be able to read into that they're going to be on Raw, or maybe they just didn't have the time for it on SmackDown this week. Then we had a fatal 5-way elimination match to determine who Seth Rollins will defend his championship against next week on Raw. We had Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles versus Robert Roode versus Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura pins Ricochet. It was not right away. It was like all the way like halfway into the second segment of this match. And this whole match was just awesome. I didn't take notes of specific things that happened, but pretty much everything involving Ricochet was amazing. And then we got just a little bit of Ricochet versus Rey, which is great. And yeah, this match is really good. And then Sami Zayn was there ringside, and that added another layer of joy to watching this match. But Shinsuke pins Ricochet, and then AJ Styles pins Nakamura, and then Robert Roode pins AJ Styles, which leaves Rey versus Roode, and Rey pins Roode to win. So we will see Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Champ. I forgot his name for a second. Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship next week on Raw. Hoorah! Hurrah! Rah! 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 Go! Spoon ba. And then we end the night with Braun versus Seth, which ends in a disqualification when the Fiend arrives and murders Braun. During Firefly Funhouse, he is saying that he's protecting Seth Rollins. So I don't know. Well, he already attacked Seth. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. It might, but Bray was getting Braun back for him talking trash to him at the beginning of the episode, because he comes out and says, well, unlike him, I come and say stuff face to face and get these hands, etc. So another great ending to Raw. And even though it is, we're pretty much built up for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Not all of the matches for it have been announced yet. I think only like 3 or 4 matches have been announced so far. So, there's still plenty of room to expand the card, to get some other championship matches, to get the Raw tag teams involved with each other, all that kind of stuff. But of course, all of it is going to be affected by what happens on the season premiere episodes, of course. Okay, so moving over to SmackDown, I fell asleep like at 4:30 or something like that, and so I woke up right after SmackDown had begun. So I missed the first 6 minutes. So if something important happened in those first 6 minutes, I missed it. I'm sorry. But we ended up with Daniel Bryan coming out to challenge Rowan. And so they have a match. Rowan wins via Iron Claw after a really scary incident with the ropes. But Rowan does win, and then Rowan and Harper go to beat Daniel down. But Rowan comes out, and Daniel issues a challenge. He asked the whole arena, do you want to see us kick their asses? And we got the yes chance from there to answer that. So at Hell in a Cell, this is one of the matches that has been announced since this segment, that it will be Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns as a team against Rowan and Harper. Sorry, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. They have full names now. Their names are back. Yes. Chad Gable comes out and is talking about how he had Corbin beat and all of that. But Mike Kanellis interrupts him and says, I'm going to prove that size matters to my wife. Okay. But Chad wins like very quickly, maybe like in under a minute, with the ankle lock. And then Elias comes on the screen and because he's inspired, and sings a song about how Chad shouldn't be the king of the ring. Well, he isn't the king of the ring. This seemed like a song that was filmed before the final that they forgot about, and they're like, oh, we should use this because we filmed it. But anyway, we had Carmela and Charlotte versus Sasha and Bayley. Sasha won the match by hitting the bank statement on Carmela, and Charlotte easily could have broken that up to continue the match, get their chances back in there, but she was just standing there like, whatever. So R-Truth carries Carmela away as the rest of the women's roster comes out, or at least the SmackDown women's roster comes out to chase Carmela to go after the 24/7 championship. And so that leaves Charlotte alone. So Charlotte attacks Sasha and Bayley, but they get the upper hand. And that's when Becky comes out to even the odds. And there we go. The New Day defeated the B team in a match, which began with Big E spread eagle in the corner across the ropes. That's the most notable thing for that match. And then we had Asuka and Kairi versus Mandy and Sonya. Kairi finally gets the win for her team via the big elbow to Mandy Rose. And then also right before this backstage, Otis approaches Mandy as Mandy's handing out her Maxim Australia magazines with her on the cover. And Otis approaches her and asks for a selfie, and is very awkward for everybody, but it's really funny. And then we have our main event, our main event segment with Shane McMahon and Kevin Owen talking about, oh my gosh, Rowan Owen. That's also confusing. There's all four. Rowan Owen, Kevin Owens. Why isn't S, doesn't he? I honestly can't remember right now, and my phone is in airplane mode, so I can't check. Is it Kevin Owens or Owen? Kevin Owens? Or I'm going crazy right now. I'm not sure if his name has an S. It's Kevin Owens. It has an S. Yeah. It's still close enough to the other ones. Anyway, Shane says, I could just drag out this lawsuit and be bad for everybody, or just drop the charges and I'll give you the job back and I'll drop the thing. And somebody on Reddit was like, oh, I could totally beat you in court and all of that. No, he didn't say that. He was saying he was going to drag it out in court. If he knew he could win right away, then he would. If you knew you could, if you had an airtight case, then you wouldn't drag it out in court. Dragging it out in court is when you can't lose, or when you know you can't win, but you want to deplete all their funds before you can even get to the point of actually winning the case, that kind of thing. So to that person, I say it makes total sense. I feel like it makes total sense. It's totally a Suits kind of thing. Suits season finale tomorrow night, Wednesday, September 25th. But Kevin says, no, you idiot. You stupid idiot. Here's whatever he calls him. I just want you. I don't care about all that. I just want you to be fired. So I'm going to challenge you to a match. Challenge them to a ladder match with a contract in a briefcase where both their careers are on the line. And I don't know if that's happening at Hell in a Cell or on SmackDown next week. I don't know, but that should be pretty good. I'm excited for it. And then backstage, Becky Lynch is being interviewed about all the stuff about Sasha, and Sasha comes up and attacks her from behind, and we end with a brawl and Becky in a heap on the floor, having been sent into the wall and all that kind of stuff. A brawl into the wall. So overall, it was another kind of weird episode of SmackDown, but I did enjoy a lot of it. And enough of the wheels are in motion for what's going to move forward on Fox. I feel like that it's some good stuff. But Raw was really good this week. And then over on 205 Live, we had only 2 matches on this episode, but they were both fantastic. But before we get to the matches, we had the Singh brother. Well, first we had Drew Gulak talking stuff about everybody, mainly about Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, but also about Lio Rush, who won that number 1 contenders match last week on NXT, and I'm super excited for that match. But we also had the Singh brothers talking about who are they talking about? Oh, they were talking some trash about Humberto and Angel, that they're cousins and they're not getting along because we end up with Humberto versus Angel in this first match, which is fantastic. And like, yeah, just go watch this. It's great. It's great. Humberto wins via his like springboard flippy moonsault, interrupted moonsault thing, whatever you call it. I don't know. But yeah, there's some and he keeps going on about it being Humberto's birthday, and they're like, no, it's not his birthday. And then when he wins, he's like, I'm gonna go get snacks for him and all this. And Dio and Vic are both, no, it's not his birthday. It will be one day. Oh, so funny, so good. I love this team. I miss Nigel on here, but him being like having completely different people on all of the shows, which Corey is the only one who is currently on multiple shows right now. If he don't count Main Event, I assume Main Event. I haven't watched it in a while. The last time I watched it, it was Vic, Byron, and Renee. So that is the other show that has people that are from others, but it makes sense because all those people are on the road. But I assume that that's going to change because the people who are on SmackDown 205 Live won't be on the same tour as the Raw people. But we'll see how all that shakes out. They haven't like made big press releases about the commentary teams and all that. They usually it's usually like the day of. They're like, oh, joining us on commentary tonight, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, that kind of thing. Well, Renee, when she joined, I think it was like a week ahead of time or something like that. But anyway, Humberto versus Angel Garza. Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza. Awesome. And oh my gosh, Angel is freaking handsome. When he makes his entrance, and he went up to a lady in the front row and like asked her for a kiss on the cheek. That was like, yeah, like that's he's got it, man. Anyway, then we had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the good old There Will Be Blood team. Oney and 1 and 2 versus Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Danny Burch won the match by pinning Tony, and like that's the only thing that I wrote down. But go watch this match because it's awesome. This whole episode is awesome. But we also had an interview with Brian Kendrick between these two matches where he's really fired up and talking about how he was teaching Akira Tozawa a lesson, which brings him back to when he first brought Akira Tozawa under his wing, where he was teaching him lessons there as well. As like he's bringing those lessons back. So 205 Live is so good. I'm really, really excited for next week's shows. I'm really excited for NXT this week. What matches were announced? Keith Lee versus Dijakovic. That's going to be ridiculous. So I am super excited for that, and I don't even remember what else is announced for this week. And then next week, of course, it's going to be awesome, but I have to watch it on delay because I will be at AEW in Washington, D.C., their debut episode. That's going to be really, really cool. And all of the main roster shows between now and the Denver show. So like between now and the completion of the draft, I'm currently planning on being at every one of those shows. So I'm super excited because they're all on the West Coast. It's gonna be an awesome trip, and then I'm gonna fly all the way over to Baltimore and Washington D.C. to go see the AEW, which is this trip probably would have been a lot better not doing that, but it adds a lot to the travel stress of the trip. But it should still be really cool, and I'll record episodes. Probably not. I'm not sure if I'll take my microphone with me. Maybe I will, but I will record episodes from my car after each of these shows, and so stay tuned for all of that. I'm really excited for everything that's happening in the next 2 weeks. And of course, Hell in a Cell coming up, but yeah, stay tuned for all of that. I did pick up a bunch of Switch games these last couple of weeks. I think I talked about finally finishing Fire Emblem, but then Borderlands 3 came out, which is not for Switch, but I've been playing that. But now that I'll be on the road, I'm not going to be able to play Borderlands 3 while I'm on there, while I'm away. Or I could, but I'm not. I don't want to take it with me, because I won't be in situations where I can hook up to a TV very much or that kind of thing. But I will have my Switch with me. I have Link's Awakening, Ni no Kuni, and Jurassic World, Lego Jurassic World. I'm actually probably going to not take that with me. But I picked up all 3 of those this week, and then also Dragon Quest 11 comes out this Friday. So I'll have 3 huge games to play. Well, Link's Awakening isn't huge, but 3 great games to play while I'm on the road. So I'll be probably be talking about those throughout the next couple of weeks as well. I will have 1 episode of new comics this week, and then my next episode will be in 2 weeks, because I'll be gone I'll be gone in the entirety of next week, so I won't be able to pick up next week's comics until the week after. What else is coming up? I haven't been watching Titans yet. I also haven't been watching Young Justice Outsiders, the second half of the season, which I think is complete now. So I've got to watch those as well, and those might be at the top of my list after I finish watching a couple of other shows that are on my devices. So stay tuned for all of that. I'm super excited. The next episode will be either my comics episode or actually it'll probably be the NXT episode and then the comics episode for this week. And I will go from there. I also got to catch up on NXT UK very soon. So let me know what you thought about this week's shows by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses. So I can see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.